I have a great guest today, and we talk about how he's grown his Amazon agency. And really, he moved down to Mexico, created a team down there, and is really scaling it very fast. Really interesting episode. I hope you enjoy. All right, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, Jason. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. So, tell us who you are and what do you do?
Sure. My name is Mike Begg. I'm one of the co-founders of AMZ Advisors, and we're an agency that specializes in the Amazon marketplaces. We help brands increase their sales, manage their advertising, and just maximize their visibility on the Amazon platform.
That's awesome. So, how did you get started? And then kind of tell me kind of the origin story about how did you transition to Amazon?
Yeah. So we actually started as myself and my two partners. We actually all started as Amazon sellers ourselves. But before that, I was actually working in retail. I was working at Sears in retail real estate development. And this was in like 2014, 2015. So it was a very interesting time for the business because a lot of things were, the stores were really struggling, trying to figure out ways to make money. And at the same time, we kind of saw what was happening in e-commerce and saw an opportunity there. So originally we just started selling products for ourselves to make some money on the side. And we found out we were really good at doing that. And we realized that a lot of other companies and a lot of big brands were really bad at it. So that kind of led to the idea of creating the agency, AMZ Advisors. And yeah, from there, we just went out and got our first clients. And it's been 6 years now. And we just keep going forward. So
That's great. And so, walk us through kind of how did you start getting your first clients? Did you just go, hey, I see you positioned in Amazon. It sucks. Like, do you want our help or what?
yeah, so the original way we started getting clients was two different things. The first, I guess, sales meeting that we went on was with a distributor in Long Island. I'm originally from Connecticut, and I think we saw his job post on like Indeed for like an Amazon expert, and we just reached out to him. We were like, "Look, you're not going to be able to hire anyone for this position." And then we kind of got the first meeting that way. But beyond that, platforms like Upwork, FreeUp, Odesk used to be, I think, is a part of Upwork now. Freelancer.com, all of those. We just started putting our profiles and our company on there and started taking jobs, even if they were low cost, just to start moving up in the ranks. And yeah, that's really how we started building and getting those initial clients.
We had a mastermind member talk about how he generated like over 100,000 in monthly recurring revenue from Upwork, and I was like, "There's no way." I was like that, like because I just always looked at it as like a platform like Fiverr, like find cheap labor. He's like, "No, no, no," and he walked us through a strategy. I'm like, "Wow, that is really pretty clever." I was like, "If that existed, I was like, I would have done that. Like that was great."
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, for growing a business, it was perfect to get started because we didn't really understand exactly what companies we were going after or what companies really needed this service. So it was kind of a way for us to learn and figure things out. And yeah, I mean, then it just kind of developed into building out a real sales and marketing strategy from there.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about how have you been able to start scaling, the agency. I look at, the first part is just really getting started, going after the clients, knowing where you're going, getting that, that direction. So as you're in that building phase, and then you get to the next stage of, as I'm choking, you get to that systems phase. So talk about a little bit about how have you guys been able to scale?
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point there. And in that initial phase where you're kind of just, getting those clients, it's really important to play to your strengths and what you're good at, what you're not good at. So the great thing about having partners in the agency business is that, we each complement each other. So like I'm very good at marketing and advertising. I have a partner who's very good at sales. I have another partner that's very good at project management. So between all of that, that really helped us execute initially to get to the point where we could start figuring out the processes to go forward. So that's always important, I think, when you're in that initial phase. And then when we're looking at that next level of building the processes, it's okay, or the way that we approach it is what are our high value tasks? What are our low value tasks? And can we start by getting rid of some of these low value tasks to other people? So the way we started with that, at least from my perspective on the marketing side, was, blog writing. I started outsourcing blog writing instead of doing it myself. Content marketing, coordination. So doing the outreach to other people, I started outsourcing that to a VA. SEO, link building, like started outsourcing that to a VA. So started with those low value tasks that really allowed me to focus on the higher value items. And then from there, it's more of, all right, now how do I train someone to take over some of these higher value stuff? Because I think a VA is great for that low value stuff, but getting them to execute on the high value is definitely harder.
Yeah, it's really challenging. So, I like kind of the process that you went through of going like, hey, how do I get rid of a lot of the stuff? So, what were some of outside of just VAs? Like, let's talk about kind of the management level, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was kind of that first person? Like, you guys are around 30 people now, so
Yeah.
you got some structure in place, and a lot of times people look at going, man, I would never want 30 people because they're at kind of that process of like 5 employees and they're already maxed out, and then they think all 30 are going to report to you, which is obviously that's a mistake. Like that's a bad structure to have if 30 people are.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about the structure that you guys put in place and then how has it evolved?
Yeah. So I think originally the first people that we brought in that weren't ourselves to help were uh, I guess I'll call them Amazon experts, or people that understood the platform and how to sell on it. And, that allowed us to start taking on more clients because now we can leverage their bandwidth to help with there. And then we got to a certain point where we realized, well, we need someone to kind of oversee a lot of what they're doing to make sure it's consistent between what each of them are doing, because everyone has different levels of knowledge within Amazon. And just with anything, some people that are more experienced are going to have more knowledge than others. So that we called them the director of account management, was the one that really helped oversee everything. That was our initial kind of manager position. And that handled the client facing side of the business. And it worked for a while. And then we figured out it didn't work. We had to kind of evolve a little bit more. And then on the back end of the business, we obviously have a lot going on with, coordinating marketing. I have a marketing manager that handles all of that for me. Content creation, that's a big part of our business, is graphic design, SEO, copywriting. We brought in a project manager to really help oversee that process. We promoted a designer to really lead the design and make sure designs were consistent across everything. And those are kind of the management positions we started filling to start helping us manage things better. Now, that director of account management role has kind of faded out to the point where now we have a real client success team, and we have a advertising team. So now the account managers are responsible for managing the relationship. The client success manager is making sure that that's responsible for working, and then we have the advertising team making sure that they're actually getting the results. So there's definitely an evolution there, and I'm sure there's a lot more that's going to come. But from failing a lot, that's kind of where we got to where we are now.
Awesome. And then walk us through kind of, is there a framework that you've developed over the years for making sure that you deliver, the value, to your clients that are on Amazon? Because I always find with successful agencies, there's always kind of a methodology or a framework that they actually follow.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there kind of needs to be